from the marsh, from the foot of misty hills and bogs, bearing God's hatred, Grendel came, hoping to kill anyone he could trap on this trip to High Herod. He moved quickly through the cloudy night, up from his swampland, sliding silently toward that gold-shining hall. He had visited Hrothgar's home before, knew the way, but never before nor after that night found Herod defended so firmly, his reception so harsh.
I walk a lonely road out from the marsh and misty hills and bogs. High Herod's where it goes. I'm hoping for the kill and I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk my shadow's the only one that walks beside me. My shallow heart's the only one that's beating. Sometimes I wish someone out there will find me. Till then I walk alone.
He journeyed forever joyless, straight to the door, then snapped it open, tore its iron fasteners with a thud, and rushed angrily over the threshold.
Someone get Beowulf because Grendel is opening the door!
He strode quickly across the inlaid floor, snarling and fierce. His eyes gleamed in the darkness, burned with a gruesome light.
Feel a light shining in the dark of night. Remember what we forgot. I know it's a long shot, but we're bringing it all back. We're bringing it all back.
Then he stopped, seeing the hall crowded with sleeping warriors stuffed with rows of young soldiers resting together, and his heart laughed. He relished the sight, intended to tear the life from those bodies. By morning, the monster's mind was hot, with the thought of food, and feasting his belly would soon know. Go.
I can be so mean when I wanna be. I am capable of really anything. I can cut you into pieces. Lonely.
Please don't eat me.
But fate that night intended Grendel to gnaw the broken bones of his last human supper. Human eyes were watching his evil steps. Waiting to see his swift hard claws, Grendel snatched at the first gate he came to, ripped it apart, cut his body to bits with powerful jaws, drank the blood from his veins, and bolted him down. Hands and feet, death and Grendel's great teeth came together, snapping life shut. Then he stepped to another still body, clutched at Beowulf with his claws, grasped at a strong-hearted wakeful sleeper,
I'm wide awake.
and was instantly seized himself. Claws bent back as Beowulf leaned up on one arm.
Let's raid!
You were gonna come to me, and here you are. But you better choose carefully, 'cause I'm capable of anything, and everything.
That shepherd of evil, guardian of crime, knew at once that nowhere on earth had he met a man whose hands were harder. His mind was flooded with fear, but nothing could take his talons and himself from that tight, hard grip. Grendel's one thought was to run from Beowulf, flee back to his marsh and hide there. This was a different Herod than the hall he had emptied.
White knuckles and sweaty palms from you hanging on too tight, clenched, shut grip. I got another headache again tonight. Eyes on fire, and they burn from all the tears. I've been crying, I've been dying over you. I must run, I must flee to my marsh and hide there. But I can't fight his strength, so my hand broke.
But Higelaic's follower remembered his final boast, and standing erect, stopped the monster's flight, fastened those claws in his fist till they'd cracked, clutched Grendel closer.
Now here we are, so close, yet so far. Haven't I passed the test? When will you realize? Randall, I'm not like the rest. I'm gonna break your arm, wanna give your arm a break. I know you're scared of me because I make no mistake. This is my life to live, and there's no time to waste. So let me give your arm a break.
The infamous killer fought for his freedom, wanting no flesh but retreat, desiring nothing but escape. His claws had been caught. He was trapped. That trip to Herod was a miserable journey for the writhing monster.
I think my life's short for this. My back, my ignorance of this. I think I've had enough of this. Let go of my and I won't miss all of the fighting that we always did. Take it in. I mean what I said when I said there is nothing left.
The high hall rang, its roof boards swayed and Danes shook with terror. Down the aisles the battle swept, angry and wild. Herod trembled wonderfully, built to withstand the blows, the struggling great bodies beating at its beautiful walls. Shaped and fashioned with iron, inside and out, artfully worked, the building stood firm. Its benches rattled, fell to the floor, gold-covered boards grating as Grendel and Beowulf battled across them.
The truth, I want to shelter you, but with the beast inside, there's nowhere we can hide. No matter where we go, Herod stands low. This is my kingdom, Grendel. This is my kingdom, Grendel. When you eat my men, that is not polite. This ain't where demons fight. This ain't where demons fight.
Arthur's wise men had fashioned Herod to stand forever. Only fire they had planned could shatter what such skill had put together, swallow in hot flames such splendor of ivory and iron and wood.
Remember how these walls were built? Hope they won't be tumbling down. Even though we put up a fight, they're never gonna make a sound.
Suddenly the sounds changed. The Danes started in new terror, cowering in their beds as the terrible screams of the Almighty's enemy sang in the darkness, the horrible shrieks of pain and defeat, the tears torn out of Grendel's starved throat, Hel's captive caught in the arms of him who of all the men on earth was the strongest.
Seemed just like yesterday, you were a part of me. I used to stand so tall, I used to be so strong. Your hands around me tight, till then I realized, thought I was unbreakable, like nothing could go wrong. No, I can't breathe, no, I can't sleep, I'm barely hanging on.
That mighty protector of men, meant to hold the monster till its life lived out, knowing the fiend was no use to anyone in Denmark. All of Beowulf's band had jumped from their beds, ancestral swords raised and ready, determined to protect their prince if they could.
Let's get down to business to defeat Grendel.
Their courage was great but all wasted. They could hack at Grendel from every side, trying to open a path for his evil soul. But their points could not hurt him. The sharpest and hardest iron could not scratch at his skin, for that sin-stained demon had bewitched all men's weapons, laid spells that blunted every mortal man's blade.
I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away, ricochet. Yes, you can rain. Fire away. Shoot me down, but I won't lie. I'm titanium. Shoot me down, but I won't lie. I'm titanium.
And yet his time had come, his days were over, his death near. Down to hell he would go, swept groaning and helpless to the waiting hands of still worse fiends.
Highway to hell. You're on the highway to hell. On the highway to hell. You're on the highway to hell.
Now he discovered, once the afflicter of men, tormentor of their days, what it meant to feud with Almighty God. Grendel saw that his strength was deserting him, his claws bound fast, Hyglaic's brave follower tearing at his hands. The monster's hatred rose higher, but his power had gone. He twisted in pain, and the bleeding sinews deep in his shoulder snapped, muscle and bone split and broke. The battle was over. Beowulf had been granted new glory. Grendel escaped, but wounded as he was, could flee to his den, his miserable hole at the bottom of the mountain, only to die, to wait for the end of all his days. And after that bloody combat, the Danes laughed with delight. He who had come to them from across the sea, bold and strong-minded, had driven affliction off, purged Herod clean.
Do you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings.
was happy now with that night's fierce work. The Danes had been served as he did boasted he did serve them. Beowulf, a prince of the Geats, had killed Grendel, ended the grief, the sorrow, the suffering forced on Hrothgar's helpless people by a bloodthirsty fiend. Norden doubted the victory for the proof. Hanging high from the rafters where Beowulf had hung it was the monster's arm, claw, and shoulder and all. Wow, this book was incredible.
Champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world.
Go.
Wow, this book was incredible. One day, when I'm an English teacher, I'm gonna make my students do a group project on it.
Wait, go ahead. Sorry.
Someone get Beowulf, because, oh, never mind, never mind. No matter what we do, when lovely do, blah blah. Grendel didn't text him this time. What are you doing?
Go.
I can be so
I'm
mean
gonna try that
when
again.
I wanna be.
Ready?
Oh, well, I don't know how that goes. Does it look like I don't have an arm? Yes.
That's still me.
Dang.
Your crown is pretty. It wasn't started again. I am so sorry. Try again. Can you see us? Yes.
Can you see, like, can you see me like, over here and can you see her over there?
Yes.
So we could be like, someone get Beowulf, because why are you doing this?